Hello, everybody. This is MaxCaf, Mobile American Cross Country for Adventures of Freedom. I'm your host, Derek Bentley. If you're new here, I'm just some dude that got to retire early. I started my YouTube journey making nomad traveling videos. Now I want to make videos to help you with your journey to break free from the system by sharing my story, with the hopes you learn from my mistakes and my triumphs. I also want to show you that you can enjoy traveling and working at something that you love. For me, that's YouTube and learning how to play the guitar. If you're connected to the internet, you've probably heard a lot of talk about men seemingly checking out of society. Apparently, this is noticeable. We're starting to do things differently from how our forefathers did them. And a lot of this normal manly stuff that men are expected to do, we're just not doing it anymore. This might be the fall of Western civilization as we know it. Regardless of that, it's interesting and I want to talk about it today. I stumbled across this story, and the more I read, the more I kind of realized, oh my, I'm one of those dudes that these dudes are telling other dudes that they're super concerned about. If you want to call going into early retirement so I can get away from everybody and find some peace and quiet, then yes. So I said to myself, dude, you need to do a video and talk about this because they're talking about you. I really don't think a lot of men are going to agree with me when I say this. As a man, it can be very confusing as to what society wants from you these days. I think that a lot of men are pulling back, and there are some men who find it very easy not to engage than to look stupid asking questions. For example, there was a time as a man you knew the majority of society felt a man should behave in a certain way. You may not have agreed with the societal norms at the time, but let's be honest, most did, but you knew that they were. The man was the breadwinner, was the protector, and was the head of the household. If you behaved in a manner that the majority of society would say, that's a real man doing what real men do. The changes that we're seeing now are different from the changes that we've seen before. While the men went off to fight World War II, women were needed to take over the manufacturing jobs. This was the first time women in large numbers were working in factories, being all independent and stuff. Then the war ended and the men came back expecting to get their jobs back and for women to go back to being housewives. They got this taste of the sweet independence, and they weren't just going to give it up. So they fought for equal rights. For men whose identity as primary breadwinner, this was a threat to that. But still, the expectation for men to act as protectors transformed as women embraced their independence. While there's nothing wrong with societal changes, they still create a real challenge for men who were raised to be providers and protectors, only to be told that their protection and their provisions are no longer needed. When it comes to the head of the household, many women have correctly pointed out that we are all equals. And I completely agree that relationships should be equal partnerships. And for a lot of men, this is precisely where things get confusing. Society has raised us with certain expectations, and how rapidly society has changed in the last century, not to mention in the last few decades. My approach to dealing with this confusion is quite simple. Stop letting societal expectations dictate how you live your life. Take the time to figure out what you need and want, and expect that there are some that care and there are some that don't. And that's okay. Find your tribe. That's what I'm doing here. In a relationship, communicate with your partner to find out what you both need and want from the relationship. Then, respect those desires and deliver on them. You might end up breaking up because your wants are incompatible. When I was in my 30s, I loved country and western dancing, and I had met and went out with this young lady. On our third date, we went to a country and western bar. We met up with a few of her friends. We were at a table, we were drinking, we were chatting, we were having a good time. Then a friend of mine approached and asked me to dance. I introduced the two ladies and proceeded to go dancing. When I got back, the young lady that I came to the bar with took me out to the patio and explained to me that you don't leave me to go dancing with another woman. I explained to her that I love dancing and I dance with other people even whenever I'm in a serious relationship. And I asked her if this was going to be a problem. She said yes, and that's when we parted ways. Society sends too many contradictory signals. The real focus belongs on what makes you happy. Modern gender politics have gotten so extreme. There are so many bad actors out there, like those sick fuck Tate boys, who's charged with more than just rape and human trafficking. I'm laughing because they're getting extradited. All right, I'm not laughing at the other stuff. So you see why people are choosing to opt out of the conversation entirely. I really hope the younger generation figures this out. I think they already recognize that traditional lifelong career model is not the one-size-fits-all solution, leading them to go launch their own businesses, work online, and change jobs frequently. We all want community, a solid social foundation, a family, however that family ends up looking. Live and love your life how you want to. If you're not hurting anyone and you're happy, then why are you letting somebody else stop you? No one else gets to dictate your path. When I look in the mirror, I know that I'm a good person handling my business. Beyond that, what others think about whether I'm a real man or not matters not to me. I'm just trying to live the best way I can with the people I love and care about. Okay, this is where I'm going to end today. Let's keep the conversation going. I would love to read about what you have to say, so please drop them down in the comments below. Keep the language clean and respectful. I know these are challenging times that we are currently living in, and I am certain I will talk about this again. So let's get the discussion going. Embrace the struggles that align with your journey, and for the sake of the universe, enjoy the view while you're at it. We are only here for just a cosmic moment. Make sure you spend it on a path worth walking. I'm here in spite of it all. Much love, everybody. See you on the next one.